I am standing here inside of the Dirksen Senate building as they have wrapped up the shadow hearing for today. A shadow hearing is something that a minority party in Congress, the party that's not in power, can do because they can't call official hearings with subpoenas or anything like that. So instead, they do these more unofficial hearings where folks can volunteer to speak on the record and still get information out there to the public. And today they're talking about the president and his attacks on the legal profession, on lawyers, on judges, on the DOJ, even on private law firms, some of whom, like Paul Weiss, have bent the knee because they don't want to be targeted by the president. I'm also going to speak to Liz Oyer, who is a former DOJ attorney who was ousted unjustly after she refused to restore the gun rights of Mel Gibson just because he's friends with 4547. And I'm also going to talk to Representative Jamie Raskin, who, along with Senator Adam Schiff, have led this hearing today. Do you want to talk a little bit about what the harms are that we highlighted today, that we saw today in this session?
I mean, we were talking about a whole bunch of different things, the judges, the lawyers, the law firms. And one of the things about the law firms that gets me is, you know, you're Paul Weiss Rifkin and you say, okay, I'm going to appease the tyrant. We'll give them $40 million in pro bono legal services to whoever they want to make all of this go away. Because remember, Trump had started by banning them from federal buildings, banning them from federal courthouses, security clearance, I mean, blatantly unconstitutional stuff. Other firms have since gone to court to get it struck down, but they just said, we'll play ball with you. Quoting Ben Franklin, Franklin said, if you make yourself a sheep, the wolves will eat you. So don't make yourself a sheep.
And speaking of not making yourself a sheep, I just really want to shout out the attorneys who spoke up today. We know Liz Oyer has been threatened by this administration where they tried to use a show of force to even attempt to send law enforcement to her home to threaten her with a letter.
On Friday night around 9:15, I learned that the Deputy Attorney General's office had directed the Department's Security and Emergency Planning Service to send 2 armed Special Deputy U.S. Marshals to my home to serve me with a letter. I was able to confirm receipt of the letter to an email address, and the deputies were called off. The letter was a warning to me about the risks of testifying here today. But I am here because I will not be bullied into concealing the ongoing corruption and abuse of power at the Department of Justice.
For me, this really isn't a question of courage. This is a question of necessity. This is not a time to stand back. This is a time to step up and be brave and to share the stories of what is happening to good people who are trying to do a public service inside the Department of Justice. So for me, I personally think I'm hardwired to stand up to bullies. This was not a difficult decision for me to make, to be here today to share my own story. And I hope that by being here, I will encourage others to do the same.